Hey everybody, this is GGB co-host Poppers. We're getting into this second game of the divisional rounds. We got past the wild card rounds. Now, every year since I've done this thing, at least one team that played in the wild card round made it on to, at the very least, the conference championship. Now, last year was FCS Division 2, Division 3 Packers. They made it past the Pac-12, and they made it into the conference championship before they lost. First year, the Big 12 went all the way to the Super Bowl and barely lost to the Big 10. Last year was a little bit of a disappointment for the Big 12, but I gotta say last year was a little bit of disappointment for the SEC. If you remember last year, the SEC was the number one overall seed. Number one. They were supposedly the best team, and the ACC absolutely clobbered them. They wiped the floor with them in the championship game. In the Super Bowl. Now, they dominated until the championship, until the Super Bowl. So we'll see if that's still the case today. We're going to get to see the SEC offense first. So we're going to see if Dak Prescott, they have a lot of offensive weapons, but they couldn't quite get it going in the playing game, which is why they're the 3 seed and not the 2 seed. And which is a big difference between playing the Big 12 and the difference between playing the Independents, which is a lot easier of a team to deal with, I'm going to be honest, than the Big 12, which has Patrick Mahomes. And just single-handedly, that makes this a much tougher matchup. But the defense is a little bit underrated. I understand the MAC kind of went to town on them. But first half-wise, they normally are very lockdown heavy. They have a lot of sacks this year, so watch out for that. Justin Tucker's probably going to kick off for this. And Justin Tucker does kick off. It's going to be probably taking a knee in the back of the end zone. And onto the field comes Dak Prescott. Now, Dak Prescott's a very good quarterback. He's a good quarterback in the NFL. He kind of had that injury in 2020, which is why his stats aren't going to be as good if you look at him this year. But Dak Prescott's a good quarterback. It's just this offense is going to be really good. It seems like it has the possibility of being really good, but it has never quite reached that level that I expect it to hit because it just looks so good, and it isn't great sometimes. But looks like it's a one tight end set with, I believe, Hunter Henry. And the running back is going to be Nick Chubb, so watch out for that. They go handoff to Nick Chubb. He has a decent-sized hole at the middle, but he is tackled by Kwiatkowski. And I mentioned it in the wild card round. I'll mention it again. Watch Nick Kwiatkowski this game. Watching him in this, I've watched him 3 games now. This is the 3rd game I've been watching Kwiatkowski. Kwiatkowski is one of my favorite players in the entire tournament. He's so solid at middle linebacker. So Dak Prescott goes under center here. I don't believe this is going to be a run. It is not a run. Fires it. Ooh, broken up there. Nice pass deflection. It brings up an early 3rd and 8. And you know what? This is why I was raving about the Big 12 defense. Because it really does have the possibility of being a very good defense. There's some really good, solid players on it. Dak Prescott goes empty set here. The Big 12 has a chance to get a big stop on the opening drive. It might be a little. There's a blitz off the edge. He gets pressured, and that's an inaccurate pass, and they're going to force a punt. This is why I was excited. Honestly, this is why I was very excited heading into this game. The Big 12, man, he's so good. Xavien Howard. Xavien Howard is arguably the 2nd best corner in the NFL right now. He has locked down every receiver he's gone against, which is a feat because he's gone against Adam Thielen. Good possibility for a return here by Tyler Lockett, but there's not much of one. Brings it 35-yard line, and Mahomes is about to take the field. But he's gone against Tyler Lockett and he locked down Kenny Golladay in the last game, and I don't remember who I don't think he matched up one-on-one with Tyreek Hill, but Xavien Howard he's been amazing so far this playoffs. He is a large part of the reason why the Big 12 have made it this far, and a large part why I think the Big 12 have a chance to upsetting the SEC. And you could see on that drive how big of a factor he was. He got a pass deflection. So, looks like a 2 running back set with Joe Mixon and Chris Carson. It's an interesting set here. Mahomes in the shotgun. He splits out, I believe, Carson right behind Mixon. The handoff to Mixon, who finds a little bit of a hole. But it's about 5 yards on the rush. And Joe Mixon, I know everyone focuses on Patrick Mahomes for this offense, and you should. But Joe Mixon's an especially good running back. He is a very solid player for them. But this defense for the the SEC is the reason why they're possible Super Bowl contenders. They really are. I mean, you have Myles Garrett and Fletcher Cox, Stephon Gilmore, so many great players. It looked like maybe a little bit of a blitz here by the SEC. Shotgun here. They do bring it. He throws it underneath to Mark Andrews, who fumbles the ball. It's going to be a turnover. And what a play by Jamal Adams. My guy. I love Jamal Adams. And this is what he does in the NFL extremely well. And it's what he did on this play extremely well. Actually, yeah, Jamal Adams both causes the fumble and recovers the fumble. And, yeah, this is great for the SEC early on. The offense wasn't able to do much, and we're seeing a little bit of our defensives early on. Really good defense by both teams. I expected this to be an offensive shootout, and if it turns into an offensive shootout, it just isn't going to be a good ball game for the SEC. A slugfest would be the ideal way to win if you're the SEC. But I'm going to actually kind of interested to see if this defensive line can provide some pressure. 2 tight end set here. Under center by Dak Prescott might be a run with Nick Chubb. They split out their other tight end. He runs right up the middle. He has a little bit of hole, but it's quickly stuffed there. Nice. Brings up a 2nd and 9. Nick Chubb has not been able to. And Kenneth Murray Jr. is another player I've been surprised with. I'm going to be honest. Rookies normally don't make a huge impact on this team, but the Big 12 has 2 rookies, Kenneth Murray Jr. and Jordan Brooks, who are very exciting players for the future of this defense. Shotgun here for Dak Prescott. He bring a 4-man rush, and he has time. He throws it to a pretty open, I believe that's Julio Jones. First catch, first completion for Dak Prescott, Julio Jones. And, Julio Jones, anyone who's watched the NFL at all knows Julio Jones. And it's just going to be a tough matchup for Chris Harris Jr. if they're going to match him up one-on-one with Julio Jones. You have to match Mike Evans up with someone, and I believe that's Xavien Howard's job, I guess, at this point. But Chris Harris Jr. is a really good corner, too. And he's probably one of the second, third best players on this team, but it's going to be difficult. It looks like another 2 tight end set here, which is a popular set they're going on early. Run by Amari Cooper. They actually go pass here. Little 4-man rush, and he has time, and he gets it out to, I believe that was maybe Julio Jones again. Only about 3 yards on the reception, though. That was Amari Cooper that time. And brings up a 2nd and 7. And if this Big 12 defense could cause a field goal here early, that'd be a huge win for them, considering the field position that their offense gave the ball to the SEC in. So shotgun here for Dak Prescott. They're going to go pass again. They bring a little bit, but it's an interception. It's an interception, and that's Nick Kwiatkowski, I believe. What did I say about Nick Kwiatkowski? He is one of my favorite players so far. It's on the defensive side of the ball. Now, to be fair, it has been extremely fun watching some offenses. In the wild cards, you had some really good offense by Jimmy Garoppolo. You got some really, mediocre offense really by the Big 12. And Mountain West was eliminated. The Independents are a little bit of an exciting offensive matchup, and I wonder how they're going to do against the ACC, considering I think ACC is possible Super Bowl contender, but I think Independents are a little bit, they're under the radar. They're a very good team this year. I think they're an exciting team, but Nick Kwiatkowski, one of my favorite players to watch, and he's showing you guys why early on. So it looks like they're going to go fullback Andrew Beck on the field. They're going to go run up the middle with Joe Mixon, who is quickly stuffed. 2 rushes for 6 yards. Great tackle there by number 59, Roquan Smith. Roquan Smith is another player I've really loved. Normally, in the NFL, period, I love Roquan Smith. I don't know if you guys have ever watched the Bears, but Roquan Smith is a very key member of that defense. But shotgun here for Patrick Mahomes. He takes the snap, 4-man rush. He's getting pressure. He fires it to Joe Mixon, and it's broken up. But I believe that's Roquan Smith again. Nice pass breakup, brings up a 39. This has turned into a defensive slugfest early. 2 turnovers so far. The Mark Andrews fumble and the Dak Prescott pick. It's turned into an interesting ball game. I don't know who you go to here if you're the Big 12, because no one's made any big-time plays so far other than Joe Mixon getting the 5 yards. So Mahomes fires it to a pretty open Tyler Lockett underneath, I believe. So none of the receivers are going to be fantastic for the Big 12. Tyler Lockett's their best one, and he doesn't even have a star, let alone a superstar X Factor, a star that lets him get anything going. But Mahomes it's got to be the reason why they win. Their defense it's been good so far this year. Outside of that second half against the. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I got to stop this right here. Hey, everyone. We're back in action here. Sorry, my brother was being about as loud as possible in the other room because he had to leave his gosh dang door open while he's watching a movie because he's a knucklehead, to say the very least. But 1st and 10 here for the Big 12. They got their first down. We got our... There's only been 2 first downs this entire... other than, you get the ball and... The offense has only picked up 2 first downs for both teams. One picked up first down by the SEC. One picked up for first down for the Big 12. They go actually bring their fullback Andrew back on the field. They go run with Joe Mixon, who gets tackled for about a 1 or 2 yard gain. And it's really been nothing going so far in the ground game for both of these teams. Joe Mixon and Nick Chubb both being relatively stuffed, which is interesting considering Joe Mixon and Nick Chubb are some of the best running backs in the NFL. This just shows what the defensive line's been able to do. They bring their fullback out on the field. I've noticed that a lot. Andrew Beck's back on the field. This might be another run to Joe Mixon. Every time he's been on the field, it's been a run, and it's another run. Nice block there by Andrew Beck. Honestly, Andrew Beck isn't a top-tier fullback in this league. And it's interesting that they're using him so often because they didn't use him that much in the wild card round, if I remember correctly. But... yeah, 3rd and 3. It picks up a manageable 3rd down. Actually, Mahomes goes empty set here. Looks like a 4-man rush. It is a 4-man rush. He fires it to a wide-open Joe Mixon, who picks up the 1st down and a little bit more. And when you're not going to cover Joe Mixon, he's just got to throw it to him. That seems pretty obvious. You would think, right? I don't know. That was some dumb defense. Dumb defense by that SEC Giants. He's wide the heck open. No one's covering him. Whose responsibility was that? Because someone made a huge error. But, yeah, 1st and 10. This is... the offense has started to get it going. It looks like maybe a 5-man rush here. Might be a little bit of blitz up the middle. Actually, they back out of it. And they bring a blitz off the outside. Nice coverage that time by, I believe... I don't know who that is. It wasn't Tre'Davious White. Maybe I think it was Stephon Gilmore. Brings up a 2nd and 10. Stephon Gilmore is a player you don't really realize went to an SEC school until you look at it and he's like, oh, he went to South Carolina. And you just don't realize it because he went to South Carolina. A guy is a superstar activated. So don't go there if you're the Big 12. This time he fires it over the middle. Mark Andrews, who picks up the 1st down and about 2 or 3 yards more. And yeah. Offense has got it going. Their best players have really gotten a reception. Oh, actually, that was to Blake Jarwin. I'm sorry, that's on me. I thought that was to Mark Andrews because he is the number 1 tight end normally, but I guess they went 2 tight end set there and got to Blake Jarwin. He didn't have a catch, I don't believe, in the wild card matchup. So, shotgun here. They go run with Joe Mixon, who gets about 5 yards. And this is, that's really the best run we've had so far by Joe Mixon. Eventually, he'll probably pop it big. He's a good enough running back that you should keep going to him, but he has not been able to get it going established. A ground game has not been established here early on. And it's interesting who you go here on 2nd and 5. Again, the Superstar X guy is activated, so I would go away from him. I think it's Roquan Smith. Oh, it's not Roquan Smith. Fires it over the middle, so I believe that one's Mark Andrews. Picks up the 1st down. And it's been a wild card. It's been a lot of different players here involved on this drive. Obviously, you're going to have your best players involved, but Tyler Lockett, Blake Jarwin, Mark Andrews, who am I forgetting? Joe Mixon. So this might be a run here play. I think this might be a run. Actually, they split out Joe Mixon wide. So Mahomes has plenty of time because of 3-man rush. He fires it to Joe Mixon, who picks up about 7 yards on the play. So Joe Mixon's been good for about 7-5 yards. They haven't been able to pop a play big, but this has been a nice, methodical drive down the field to calm your team down, especially on the road against the SEC Giants, a team that many people think can go far. It's been nice to calm down your defense, go on this nice long drive. So Mahomes has time. He fires it to an open. Oh, he was so open. Tyler Lockett dropped that pass. Brings up a 3rd and 3, but You can't have that if you're the Big 12. Honestly, you're trying to come into SEC territory, which is weird because it's the Giants, because that's really not where SEC is, but trying to go to the SEC and win, you can't make mistakes like that if you're Tyler Lockett. So empty set here for Mahomes. Looks like a three-man rush. They bring two people off the edge. Fires it to a wide open, I believe, Mark Andrews for the touchdown, and the Big 12 take a 6-0 lead early on. Extra point pending. They can make it a 7-0 lead. It was a nice methodical drive by Cliff Kingsbury's in this offense, and it'd be interesting. They make it to the next round. I know I'm overthinking myself. SEC still has there's a lot of games left to play, but if they make it to the next round, I'm sure you're happy if you're a Big 12 fan, because a Big 10 fan actually, because at the very least you'd be playing the Big 12, a 6 seed, instead of possibly playing a 4 or 5 seed in the FCS Division 2, Division 3 Bills, which have looked explosive. And again, that was against the Sun Belt, but explosive early on. Or you could be playing the Pac-12, which I wouldn't want to do that. But yeah, it's been exciting here. I mean, the Big 12 has looked solid all around. Outside of that Mark Andrews fumble, but I don't know if I can really blame a fumble on the offense. I think that's just a common mistake. Now, interceptions are more of defensive skill. So I'm going to be interested, can the SEC match this with a long, long drive down the field? I don't know if they can. I don't know if their offense... Well, I mean, I'm sure they can. Their offense is very explosive. So Justin Tucker, actually, it might be returnable. It's not. He decides to take a knee. But yeah, the running backs are so good, and I honestly think they probably should use them more in this offense. Again, this is the Giants' offense, so they're probably not. It's an interesting offense because normally I think of Saquon Barkley when I think of the Giants, but the SEC, the Giants don't really run the ball a lot if Saquon Barkley's not on the field. And last year they didn't run the ball a lot. So, I mean, it could be a very pass-heavy offense for this team, even though the running back is a strong part of it team. So, they bring four-man rush. He fires it to a pretty open, I believe, 80. That's Odell Beckham Jr. So, OBJ with his first catch brings up a 2nd and 1. First catch for 9 yards. See it. Their receivers are they're going to outmatch these corners. Outside of Xavien Howard, who I believe will lock down whoever player he's on. 2 tight end set here. This is obviously their worst set. I don't understand why they keep running it. But under center for Dak Prescott, looks like Jared Cook goes in motion here. They run out the middle with Nick Chubb, who has a big hole. He bops it. And he gets 13 yards on the play. Biggest play of the day by far for Nick Chubb. Biggest play, actually second biggest play of the night outside of the Julio Jones catch. So, nice first down. I mean, this is how you should run your offense if you're the SEC Giants. Your strength is in your run game. You have 3 of the best running backs in the league in Nick Chubb, Derrick Henry, and Alvin Kamara. I mean, that's an insane running back core. I mean, those are 3 of the top 5 probably. You got Christian McCaffrey out of it and probably Dalvin Cook. But outside of that, it's hard to name 3 more dominant running backs. Go run outside of Nick Chubb, but he is pretty much stuffed. That was a nice play by that defense and Deshaun Elliott. And Deshaun Elliott's an interesting player because I don't believe he's a starting safety, but he makes some big time plays. He really comes in here, makes some. He had a pick late in the MAC game. Now it didn't turn out to be huge because the MAC came back and they made it actually, but it turned out to be pretty huge because they could have kicked the field goal there and they could have tied the game, and that could have changed the course of events. Or they could have gotten a touchdown. They could have taken the lead at some point. But 1 tight end set here. This is probably their best set. They go play action. He has plenty of time. He fires it to an open Julio Jones. Brings it to the 34-yard line. And this is your offense you should run. You run the ball, play action. I mean, you have the receivers to do it. The thing I worry about is Dak Prescott is an elite quarterback, which is what I think maybe makes this SEC team not like the Super Bowl contender that the Big Ten and ACC are, where the Big Ten and the ACC both have all-around great teams, but they also have elite quarterbacks in Tom Brady and Lamar Jackson. I don't know if Dak Prescott is that. So they actually go fullback here. They bring in Kari Blastingame. I formation. I think this is going to be a run. But he's stopped. I mean, that was some nice play by, I believe, Jordan Brooks on the outside, keeping the edge. And I believe the tackle goes to Nick Kwiatkowski and brings up a 2nd and 13. They've done a very nice job of studying the edge. And outside of that one run for Nick Chubb, it's been really nothing going. Jordan Brooks is the one that he set the edge extremely well. And the two rookie linebackers are something you should watch in next year and the years coming up for Conference of Champions. The two linebackers, Jordan Brooks and how am I forgetting his name? Kenneth Murray Jr. Watch how they develop in the NFL, because this could really impact how this team does in the future. So it looks like it might be a run. It's not a run. They bring a blitz anyways. Fired it to Julio Jones, and they got to figure out something about Julio Jones. He's just been killing them here early. And 3rd and inches, the perfect spot if you're the SEC Giants. They haven't been able to tackle you for loss with inside runs. At the very least, I think you go inside run, maybe with Derrick Henry if you want to bring him on the field. I feel like he'd be a great specialist for short yardage. He's one of the best in the league in that. Regardless, the SEC get to use him as a specialist player. But actually, they should go shotgun here, so it could most likely going to be a pass. So they do go pass with a little play-action fake. He fires it to a wide-open Alvin Kamara, who takes it all the way down to the 5-yard line. Whew. And this is what's exciting about this team. I mean, you have obviously your all-around back in Nick Chubb. You have a great player for short yardage situations in Derrick Henry. And then you have this explosive guy out of the backfield in Alvin Kamara. And, I mean, I think while this game started out as an early defensive slugfest, it's turned into a pretty great matchup between two great offenses. And this SEC's having a great fireback drive where they're coming back against the Big 12 after their statement drive. So shotgun here for Alvin Kamara, for Dak Prescott. They still have Alvin Kamara on the field is what I was trying to say. He fights his way all the way down to the 2-yard line. And Alvin Kamara actually getting a rush, which is interesting here. They're not near the goal line. They're not bringing in another running back, because I love Alvin Kamara as a Saint, and he really does have a nose for the end zone. But Derrick Henry is probably your best back to use down here to punch it in. They go 3 tight end set here. They bring in, I don't know who goes in motion. Evan Engram probably. Under center, Dak Prescott. They run up the middle. He has a huge hole, and he gets in. And I believe that's a tie ball game there, my friends. Nick Chubb punches it in. And this crowd's going wild for Nick Chubb. They love Nick Chubb. They love some Chubb. So 3 minutes left in this game, this first quarter, and it's looked like a good game so far. And I thought, while the FCS Division II, Division III Bills versus the Pac-12 Redskins are likely going to be the best game, it's likely going to be the closest game. This game might have the most watch value just because both these offenses are just so explosive. They really are insanely explosive. Josh Lambo makes the kick, makes it a tie ball game. But yeah, it's just both these offenses have the ability to be so explosive. Now, the SEC hasn't showed it their past 2 games against the ACC in the Super Bowl last year, and in the playing game, they really did nothing against the ACC. Now, the ACC just might be their kryptonite, where they just can't beat at the defense for some reason with the Buccaneers and the defensive players. They just match up extremely poor against them. And if that's the case, SEC, then because you're likely going to be playing the ACC in the next round if you make it past these Big 12, who they're going to be a tough team to beat. Tyler Lockett decides not to return it, takes a knee, and Mahomes takes the field. He had a statement drive last drive. He had a great drive. Now, he did that, and his defense was providing him with a little bit of a cushion, because you know that they were going to do great because they had the stop, forcing a punt, and then they caused a pick. So, I mean, your defense was doing great. That drive was not great defensively. The defense really, the SEC seemed to have figured them out. Maybe they'll come back later and have a great defense. Now, if you're the SEC defense, and you really need to do better. You had that fumble, obviously, but you haven't forced a punt yet, and that's not good. So they go run here with Joe Mixon, who's tackled in the backfield. Combination of Roquan Smith and I don't remember who 25 is. Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger. Actually, 55 Vaughn Miller. I don't know why I was thinking 55 because I think 50 is Roquan Smith. So this brings up a 2nd and 11. It's interesting. The run game has not gotten going, really, for the Big 12. The SEC had that one really good run with Nick Chubb, and obviously he punched it in. But that was only from about 2 yards out. So it's also going to be interesting to watch this offensive line, which isn't an offensive line bad offensive line by any means. You have Trent Williams, you have Lane Johnson, you have some really good players on the team. Cody Whitehair, 2 tight ends set here with Mark Andrews and Blake Jarwin. Shotgun for Patrick Mahomes. They go pass again. They bring a 5-man rush. He fires it to a wide open 82. That's Sterling Shepard, I believe, with his first catch of the ball game. And he's getting everyone involved here. Really, I kind of like it. I really do like it. He's getting everyone involved. I mean, even Blake Jarwin has a catch, which the last 2 times I've watched this Big 12 team, and it's rare. You normally don't use the number 2 tight end too that often outside of blocking plays. Tyler Eifert is probably the only player I've seen so far that's a number 2 tight end that actually had a couple of good catches. So Blake Jarwin being involved early is actually kind of interesting. Shotgun here for Patrick Mahomes. They bring a blitz. He was a little bit of a screen. He has a lot of room to run. He brings it up for about a 9-yard gain. And Mixon has been very productive early on in the passing game, which, weirdly enough, he's not used very much in the passing game in Cincinnati. He's used normally on the ground because they have so many good passing targets in Cincinnati. But he's been very productive here in the air early on, and less so on the ground, mainly because the defensive line is so good. But getting him out with a screen pass, it plays against the defensive line's aggressiveness. So brings Danny Amendola in motion. He hands it to Danny Amendola, who finds a little bit of a hole, picks up about 6 yards on the play. First play, Danny Amendola's got involved, and watch out for that. He's not the number 3 receiver. I believe that's Marquise Hollywood Brown. But Danny Amendola is a little bit of a player. We're coming to the end of this episode, but Danny Amendola is their slot kind of guy. And shotgun here for Patrick Mahomes. Looks like a 4-man rush unless they bring a blitz. They do not. He has time. He fires it underneath to Mark Andrews, who picks up about 7 yards on the play. And really, I mean, they haven't taken any shots. I don't think I've seen anyone really take shots outside of the FCS Division 3 when they had the Sun Belt well under wraps. But it's been rarely any shots this year with deep plays. But, I mean, this has been nice little dink and dunks and bring some nice defense, nice drives here. Might be a run here with the Big 12. They go run up the middle with Joe Mixon, who gets really kind of stopped. And he's really not having a great day running the ball offensively. He has a little bit averaging over a little bit more than 2 yards per carry. Brings up a 3rd and 1. I think you gotta run it up the middle, even if Joe Mixon's not having the best day. Maybe bring Chris Carson onto the field. He seems to be your power back specialist. 3rd and 1. I think you got to go for it on the ground. I don't think you try and pass for it here. But I think we're going to answer that question in the next episode. But hey, everybody, this is GGB, co-host Peppers, saying adios amigos.